Paltrocast.
Hi, love.
Hey, thank you for taking the time. The last time I had the pleasure of speaking with you, the new movie was The Best Man, and I think that's like 8 movies ago for you. Is that right?
Maybe more. Yes, a long time ago. Oh my goodness. So much fun. Yes.
Yeah, and then I look at IMDb and it looks like there's 7 or 8 more coming soon. So it sounds like you're not sleeping a lot these days.
I've just come off a job 2 days ago and it was night shoots. I am not sleeping. You are very accurate. There's a lot going on.
Well, you lose because you're not sleeping. We win because you have great new movies. Crescent City is the latest one. When did you actually film it?
It was about a year ago, actually, in Arkansas, Little Rock. Yeah, I think it was roughly about a year ago.
How many films have you done in Arkansas at this point?
This was my first one and my first experience there, which I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed. It was a city I'd never been to. Being part of a movie production, you always get the best treatment. You know, you get to go to the best restaurants and meet all the locals and stuff. And this was a great cast and crew and a bunch of super fun people, and everyone's families flew in. You know, RJ, our director, he always brings his family. He's been a friend of mine for 17 years, you know, so he creates quite a lovely environment to be in. It feels like being on a big holiday with your friends and being creative. And I know Esai has been a mate of mine for years. So there's just so many lovely things about shooting in a small town with a bunch of great people. You all are growing and learning together, you know?
Yeah, Word is the greatest art museum in the world is in Arkansas and Bentonville. Have you heard those rumors?
Nope, I did not know that. And I did not make it to those places, but good to know because I'm sure I'll go back.
Yeah, it sounds like you might be filming again in the near future. But anyway, the role that you play in Crescent City, Jacqueline Waters, how much of you, the human being, is there in Jacqueline?
Well, you know, I think with these kinds of characters, with all characters, in real life, we all have some kind of trauma, whether it from childhood or experiences through life. No one's getting out, you know, smoothly. So in Jacqueline's particular case, there's quite a lot of trauma, which leads her to make some poor decisions. I think she's got a good heart under it, but she's in survival mode. And she doesn't know who to trust, where to turn. And when you're in pain, you just want to feel good. So she makes, without giving away our storyline, some decisions where she can kind of, you know, the lines are crossed and she's so messed up at that time in her life that she can't make a clear decision of work and personal life, and they all meld into the other, and it complicates it, making it an interesting storyline for all of us and not knowing who's doing what. And then you see the surprises along the way, which hopefully you guys sort of see as the audience get to kind of experience and play who did it and what's happening, and you know what I mean. So an interesting story with lots of layers, and Jacqueline's complicated, you know.
Sure. Great cast, yourself included. Was your gateway into the project RJ, the director?
It was him, and I had done a project together 17 years ago, one of my first movies I ever did when I came to LA. And he had always promised to work together again, and it hadn't worked out, but the timing of this worked. The script was great. Jacqueline's an awesome character. I know a lot of women would have loved to have played her. And obviously, then you've got this really incredible cast of men surrounding this character. It's really a no-brainer. People I really love and care about, and incredibly talented actors to get to work opposite. So it's very easy, yes.
Well, speaking to your versatility, unless you're done with compliments for the day, is it still
Oh,
okay?
oh, you can throw one in.
Okay. The first project, because I'm not from the great country of Australia, the first project I ever saw of yours was Hall Pass. Saw that great comedy. Haven't seen it since, but I'm pretty sure it holds up, whatever it was. But that's kind of the exact opposite of a role for you as Crescent City. So did you start out wanting to do drama, but it was comedy that was originally thrown towards you?
I got thrown into comedy, but comedy was like always my personality in my 20s and 30s. I was so goofy. I still am, but as you grow older, more things happen to you. And so a lot of actors, and a lot of times in my life, I've sort of you go through things and you will get asked to do a project that's quite heavy and you're sort of like, oh, I get it why that's come to me at this time. It's like my frequency is drawing emotion in at the moment. And so it's always, Hall Pass came around. It's I was in Australia in the sun, at the beach, and everyone, agents are calling me, come on audition for Hall Pass. I'm like, oh, I'm having too much fun in Australia. I was wild. And I fly in and this whole audition process, and I'm up against all these. I mean, that process was so different to where I'm at now in my life. And so
Yeah.
you just sort of roll with it as a human, going through different years and getting older, and things are presented to you. And yeah, now I get a lot more drama and a lot more thrillers, and they challenge me, but I can probably tap in a little better because I've lived a little longer. So everything I do seems to be so polar opposite to the next. Trust me, I'm just bizarrely shocked as you. I'm always like, all right, here we go. But I like that. I like bouncing around. People don't think that do know me don't think of me just as that, or maybe they do because they've only seen me in Hall Pass, say. But when we do these interviews, you've done a bit of research, you'll see it's such a bizarre list of movies. Trust me, I look at it and go, what? I'm shocked too.
Well, you kind of have the subdivides of a comedy, drama, thriller, Australian release, American release. And a common thread that I have with Australian actors and actresses who move to LA is oftentimes they didn't have any success in Australia. In other words, they became pigeonholed as the Australian actor or actress in LA. In your case, you did have a lot of success in that territory and here as well. So do you have different agents depending on the territory or genre?
At the moment, I have the one American team who are so wonderful and managed to cover the globe for me. And I still have a lot of contacts in Australia and in Europe. So we reach out and branch out when the time is right. But I was a TV presenter in Australia for the first couple of years of my career. Not what I wanted to do, but where I was at. Then got asked to do Neighbours, and then was asked to do a film in America, and jumped over here. Ultimately, a lot of Australians will just be drawn to Hollywood because this is where, well, originally where everything was made, and sort of where
Not anymore.
not anymore. But where it all sort of the energy happens, and America does our business so well. They really do. So does everywhere else around the world, but this has got a real draw to it. So you'll find most Aussies make their way over here.
More so these days in Nashville. There's Nashville, Australia. But anyway, the last question I have for you before I let you go has nothing to do with Crescent City or your next 8 movies. It's what's the last concert that you went to?
Oh my goodness. It's been a minute, to be honest with you. I haven't been to a concert in a while. Used to go to concerts all the time when I was younger. It might have been something at the Hollywood Bowl. I couldn't even tell you the last one. And I also will, when I travel to Europe over Christmas and stuff, you will find me at a lot of those big dance parties with the huge DJs. Love that still. I started sort of love that vibe. But I used to go to a lot of concerts. I remember seeing Pat Benatar and all the old school stuff. My first concert ever was Pearl Jam when I was 16 in Australia. I was at Stagecoach. There you go. I went to Stagecoach, so I saw many performers, and all of them were magnificent. And I'm not a huge country music person, but I now am after my Stagecoach experience.
Country, EDM, 80s, Pearl Jam, all over the place in a good way. But Nicky,
just like my career.
presenting, Hall Pass, this, whatever it is, I'm looking forward to seeing it in the near future. And thank you for your time, Nicky.
Thanks so much, love. Thank you.
Paltrocast.